Oh, hey guys. Oh, hey. So, this is my 8 week in 3 day update. Now, you're saying to yourself, probably like, why do I sound uncertain? Because I am uncertain. I'm not sure why doctors count those 2 weeks that you're not actually pregnant. It's like the time of your menstruation to and through your ovulation cycle. Those first 2 weeks, they're counting as your first 2 pregnancy weeks. So like if you go into labor, the thought is that you have these 40 weeks, but really you only are going to be pregnant for like 38. I don't really totally understand it, but it's freaking me out. So like in my mind, I am 6 weeks pregnant, but like on apps and as far as the doctors are concerned, I'm 8 weeks pregnant. So I'm gonna have to go with 8 weeks because that's what science says, because I guess doctors can't narrow down exactly when you got pregnant, like what time frame, even though it's like, the ovulation cycle is, it's a short window, but they can't narrow it down. So in my mind, I'm 6 weeks, but for the purposes of science, I will be 8 weeks. So that's where it is. Okay, now how do I know when I got pregnant? Like I said before, I know when I got pregnant because I know I track my ovulation cycle. I am like a crazy bandit when it comes to tracking my ovulation. I know when I was ovulating, and shortly after that, I went out of town for a substantial amount of time, and I was away from my husband. So I know that there's only one day in the month that I could have possibly gotten pregnant. And so I know for certain that my exact week, just down to the moment, down to the minute that it happened. And if for kicks and giggles, later at some point I have my husband show you the move that I made that helped him to know this is the moment. But anyway, this week I've been sick. I threw up. I know in the last video I told you guys that I had not been throwing up. I had just been nauseous, but this week I threw up. My skin is still dry. I haven't, like, my sensitivity, my scent sensitivity it's grown. I'm very sensitive to smells. What else has happened to me this week, babe? So another thing, like, I'm having a hard time connecting with the child because I have not yet had my first doctor appointment. And I'm concerned that because I had a pregnancy that wasn't viable in the past. Now, we can call it a miscarriage, but technically it wasn't a miscarriage because the pregnancy wasn't viable to start with. The fetus, the embryo stopped growing at, I believe, 5 weeks. And so like that was just the end of it. There was a sac, the yolk wasn't growing, or there was a yolk and the sac wasn't growing. I don't remember exactly, and I really don't care to do the science, but the pregnancy wasn't viable. It was never going to happen from the start. And until I see this little being and hear, its heart beating, I'm just not able to connect with it. So I finally told my husband, and he keeps saying we're pregnant, and he's so happy, and he's hugging me, and he's like, do you want me to run to the grocery store and get you anything? And I did have one craving. I wanted him to get me some ice cream sandwiches, but here in Charlotte they don't have Perry strawberry ice cream sandwiches, so that was a doozy for me. But but other than that, I'm just really not, I'm not ready to talk about it still with people. I'm really going through it here. And my kids keep asking me, my son in particular asked me, did I have a baby in my stomach? And I told him yes. And today he goes, like, right now? So I said yes. And then he said, you want to see me jump up and touch the air conditioning unit? So that was funny. But yeah, so I'm having a hard time really connecting with this pregnancy. I thought that because I had, a healthy birth after the pregnancy that wasn't viable, that it wouldn't affect me the same, but it really is affecting me. And I really just want to go to the doctor and kind of see and know for certain what's going on inside my body. My moods have been mellowing out a little bit, but I get sick around 3 o'clock every day. Like, God is able. Let me just say that God is great, because I'm able to wake up and work out and, you know, prepare lunch and dinner and breakfast for my family and go through my kids' studies. But it's like as soon as I stop, like I crash. Everything I eat, it just, I want to throw up afterwards. And my brother said that I got sick like this with my son. He was like, do you remember? Because every time he talks to me, I'm sick. And he's like, what's wrong with you? Or on IMO, he's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, oh, I'm just so sick. And he's like, remember when you were pregnant with baby boy? That's what he calls my son. And he goes, you were always sick at night. Like, always sick at night. Do you think you're pregnant? And I'm like, I won't be talking to you on IMO anymore, Mr. Inspector Gadget. But anyway, it's funny the things that people remember about your pregnancies that you actually don't. My husband is like, he remembers like everything. He's like, remember when this happened? Remember when that happened? And he remembers, he's got a keen memory for the things that the kids did when they were babies and the words that they said and how they said it. I'm like, I just remember being sick, going through labor, and the blessing. But these two men of mine, they're great. So anyway, yeah, oh, so I'll show you my stomach. I've been back working out. So it's happened in reverse. Remember last video I showed you guys my stomach was bloated. So I clearly knew, like, the freaking baby is like on the side of a Sesame Street. It's not even a baby yet. It's an embryo, you know. And so my stomach was a little bloated. But now I've been back working out and doing the things that I'm supposed to do because I think the implantation part is over. That's what I was kind of waiting for implantation. 8 weeks, I would say, is safe enough for me to start back working out. Started light. I've been doing yoga. That's something that I've never experienced in my life, something I never even wanted to experience. But I'm learning that yoga isn't that far off from what I actually do, which is bar fitness. And so it's not that hard for me to transition, but my mind and my spirit are connected, and it's so much easier for me mentally doing the yoga stances. And if you want to see some of those, feel free to go on my Instagram at FC_Ali. That's FC_ALI. And there I post my workouts. So by the time you guys see this, obviously you know that I'm pregnant, but what I'm posting right now is just like inspirational messages under these yoga poses. So without further ado, here is my 8-week 3-day belly update. It's weird. I feel like it looks bigger on this side. Do you? It's strange, but I still have my little V's. I still have my little V's, so I'm excited about that. But it's not as, you know, flat as it usually is. But it's not as big as it was last week. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Feel free to comment below. Hit the like button. And as always, subscribe if you found this information informative. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.